Okay, friends, today I'm excited to have a special guest on with me today. I want to welcome, and I'm going to take my best stab at this, Ana Maria Dimitratos. Did I get it right?
No, yes, you did.
Well, it's so exciting to have you here today. I know you've been a longtime Sprout member. You're also the resident service coordinator at Artisan at Judson Park. And my team is always so impressed with the events that you put together. And we wanted to have you on so you could share your expertise today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Honestly, it's a pleasure to join you on your podcast today.
Well, I'd love to ask you, first of all, because we follow and see the events that you do, how are you coming up with such great events for your community?
Well, our goal is to provide a safe, encouraging, and empowering environment for our residents so that they have a chance to build a successful future for themselves and their families. So when we come up with ideas, we basically want to make sure that we are achieving this goal for events. So we'd like to provide services that will enrich their well-being and financial security, which is our priority. So, for example, our garden club, for instance, provides our residents with fresh produce that they may not otherwise have access to. Also, studies show that gardening reduces stress and is great for mental health. Reaching out to organizations that help with financial planning or filing taxes also helps our residents plan for their future. So we really try to um, plan our events um, according to different things that might enhance their present and future life.
It's really incredible. I mean, I was just at the grocery store yesterday and I was shocked at how expensive fresh produce is. And looking at your garden and the things that it gives your residents, most residents wouldn't even have access to a garden. So that's really thinking in a way to enrich their life, like you said, and help their pocketbooks.
We do our best.
Yes, and we were looking at some of the pictures of your residents from their faces, their expressions,
Oh
and
my gosh, yes.
it's so great. Okay, so I think I have a sneaky suspicion, but I'm curious, what do you do to ensure good attendance?
Marketing is a huge factor. Your team has been just incredible with helping us promote our events, ensuring we have a good turnout via social media, flyers, and then, of course, through our monthly community calendar and newsletters. Sprout has been an incredible partner, providing us with the necessary resources to ensure great communication for both residents and prospective applicants. Hands down, you guys have been phenomenal. Other factors also come into play um, in order to kind of make sure that we do have a pretty good turnout. Weather is also a key factor. It's a great way to predict if you'll have a good turnout, but of course it can vary, right? So if it's cold outside, offering a delicious cup of hot chocolate or warm pastries creates a cozy environment. If it's warm outside, take advantage of the beautiful outdoors. That definitely can create a really cool vibe, nice environment. Like if you have a pool at your community, go ahead and throw a social by the pool, or you can even have a meeting outside by your garden if you have one.
Okay, those were such good responses, and I promise I did not pay her to talk about Sprout, but I'm so glad you mentioned it. But my guess was going to be, and kind of what you said in the first answer was, you're creating events that are like you're thinking through what is going to make your residents' life better, whether it's meeting their goals. And I think that when people see that that's what you're doing, then they're invested in it. But I love that you brought up, you still have to market it, you still have to make sure that the weather cooperates. Yeah. How soon do you guys start marketing an event? I'm just curious.
Oh, my rule of thumb is that definitely you always want to plan ahead of time. Time management is key. So what I like to do is I like to reach out at least at a minimum, like a month and a half. That allows you not only to adjust things, like if you need something to be rescheduled, but it also allows you to spread what's going on in the community by word of mouth. So if you have prospective applicants coming in and you know ahead of time what's going to be planned for the following couple of months per se, you can always verbally let them know. And then, of course, if you have your own residents coming in to renew their leases, or if they have any issues or concerns they need to talk about, you can always let them know, hey, next month we're going to have a health fair, for example, or you should join us for our community garden event next week.
So you're using this as not just a retention, but as a marketing thing then as well.
Hmm. Pretty much.
Getting your events a couple of months out, it sounds like you guys kind of know then at least a month to a month and a half what you're doing.
Yes. We always try to stay on top of the events that we're going to have, particularly because, as I mentioned before, when you're working with different organizations, their calendars might differ from what you're able to do on property. So you always just want to have that great communication. And also, you want to verify that they're able to come out on those dates. And so I think that would help a lot of resident service coordinators to just kind of plan ahead, because even though it might seem a little far out, when the day approaches, everyone's already aware of what you need to do, where they need to be. And if you do need to reschedule, there's adequate time for that to happen.
This is such good practical advice. I'm so glad. And I'm just curious then, is this how do you then not get overwhelmed? Is it with these strategies?
Yes.
There's a limit
Time
to overwhelm, right?
time management and organization is key. It's very easy to get overwhelmed because what we're trying to do here essentially is not just provide our residents with a fantastic time, right? But you're also trying to um, create a safe space where they can actually use these events to their advantage, for their life, their future, and so you really need to be tactical, I'm sorry, about planning ahead and executing work last minute should be avoided. Um, I always, like I mentioned before, like to plan my calendar about ahead of time, um, just to leave room for anything that might needs to be changed. But also, I will say that teamwork is a huge factor in alleviating stress factors, but also, when we're hosting big events, it is often a team effort. And it's always wonderful to have, for instance, my property manager, Brittany, or my maintenance technician, Rudy, not only help out with these events, but participate. Don't hesitate to ask your team members to be part of your community events. And I say this because it's a great way to bond with your coworkers, which simultaneously enhances work satisfaction. But at the same time, it also strengthens the relationship between the office staff and the residents.
That is such a beautiful, like, holistic approach to, like, getting team together, getting community, and the whole thing is, like, we talk about our community, but even our team members were an extension of it, so I love that you're highlighting that as a way to bond. Okay, so as we wrap up, are there any tips that you have for hosting a fantastic event?
Make sure you confirm everything you need from all involved ahead of time. That means your vendors, organizations, your team members. Make sure that if you do need help, you can reach out to them and say, hey, is this going to be a good time, a good day? What does your schedule look like? We always have to respect that because each person has their own job duties they also need to fulfill. But more importantly, make sure you enjoy what you're anytime you enjoy something, the result is much greater, particularly when the events are enriching other people's lives.
That is beautiful advice. We have to end on that because I think that just goes to show how this is about people's home, but we can have fun in the process. And I always think that fun is contagious, don't you? Like if
Yes, absolutely. You have to have fun with it.
yes, and I love that. Well, your energy is amazing, but your strategy is even more impressive. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing all of this and being a guest. I think you're our very first resident service coordinator that's ever been on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much.